And welcome back to United TV. And as words out my mouth saying, some will say this is an audition for Anderson. Maybe I might say that, but we're not going to say that. We're going to say Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest on the weekend. We're looking forward to the match. Maybe Casemiro is going to be captain. Maybe Bruno Fernandes is going to break the record. Maybe it is an audition for Anderson. Who knows? And we're just better. And welcome to the stream. And how are you feeling about this? It's going to be the penultimate game, last game at Old Trafford. Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, lots to talk about. And here we go, Michael Carrick, 2-year deal. So it's kind of all happening at the same time.
It's such an accumulation, isn't it, of almost everything. We've got firstly we've got the new kit for next season. We get to see what that looks like. We have possibly one of the signings that the majority of fans agree would be a great addition to us playing. So there's and he had a great performance against us back in November. So it'd be very, very interesting to see what Anderson does. I remember he marked out Mbumo almost out of the man marked him out of the game previously. And Cunha didn't have much joy against them either. So that's going to be very exciting to watch. At the same time, we've got Fabrizio Romano giving a here we go on Carrick's new contracts, a 2-year contracts. And also the other story, let's not forget, is Bruno Fernandes chasing the assist record. 19 already, one more to break the record, to equal the record, and 2 more to break it. So many different stories going on in the game. It's going to be a very, very interesting match. Our last home match of the season. What a season, Rich. I mean, if you can't write this story, can you? From where it started to where it seems to be ending.
It's been a crazy one, isn't it? Because I think at the start of the season, my expectation was get Europa League. And it kind of felt halfway through the season it was damage limitation. At least try and scrape like at least try and get into the Europa League if possible. And it's kind of finished where we're looking at it thinking, okay, Michael Carrick's going to be in charge next season. I'm pretty open-minded with what's going to happen. I think I would always say that I prioritize getting better players into the club than worrying who's in the head coach for the next year. I think that if you get the wrong head coach, it can be sorted out a bit quicker than if you mess up on fixing your midfield. And I think there's going to be lots of talking points. I think people are talking about Anderson. I know a few season ticket holders that went to, I think they watched Anderson versus Man United in the previous game, and they said Anderson was exceptional. And obviously, he's going to be a talking point because he might be the biggest transfer of the summer. But I think there's a lot of other stories with Man United. Are we going to see some rotation? I would suggest we're going to see a strong team, and then maybe the last day of the season we might see academy players given a go, like we have seen in previous years. That would be my guess. But I think people are going to be looking at this as this is Michael Carrick's first game as permanent manager. Is it going to change things? I don't think it's going to change things. I think that they've had the game plan for a while. What's going to happen? So I'm looking forward to it though, because I think Forest. A good team, a bit of a problem for us recently, but Casemiro's last home game, I think the atmosphere is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, entirely, and it could be the last game for quite a few players, possibly, hopefully.
It could be. Should we talk about the man Bruno? In terms of numbers, could he break the record? Could he equal the record, start with, then break it in the same game is the big talking point.
It's interesting, Rich, and don't count against him and Bruno and Casemiro linking up, because in the previous reverse tie that we scored our first goal from the corner, Bruno corner in, Casemiro header. So don't be surprised if we're able to do that again. And what was very interesting also about that previous match was Ahmad got the equaliser and almost got the winner. It was cleared off the line. So let's hope he gets some joy. But yeah, I think Bruno could be instrumental because of the way they will play, because they're being forced to play in a way, and we'll come to that later. But yeah, what a delight it would be for Bruno to break that record. He's at home. What a place to break it, last home match of the season. If at the very worst case scenario, even if he equals it, that's good enough for me, but let's hope he breaks it.
I hope so. I'm going to go. Cam35 says put pressure on Anderson, see how he handles it. That's what I would do. I'm hoping, there's going to be, I think there's going to be an expectation from Man United fans to give the club a good, to give the fans a good last game at Old Trafford. And Jay said, I wonder if Bruno will give Casemiro the captain's armband for his last game tomorrow. And it's be a great send off for Casemiro. We've been talking about this a while. A few people have said this. Do you think that might happen? Like we have seen, sometimes you get people giving the captain's armband. Do you think that's something that might happen?
Possibly. I mean, I'd be happy to see it. I just think it's a nice gesture. I think if it was down to Bruno, I think selflessly he would. Whether there's protocol that they need to look at, that they may just kind of leave her in. But yeah, that would be a nice kind of moment, even if it's just to give it to him, say for the last 5 minutes of the game, where Bruno comes off and hands it to Casemiro, something along those lines. And I think they'll probably sub Casemiro at some point before the final whistle, just so he can get that lovely standing ovation from the crowd. So yeah, and there are so many stories going on tomorrow, and I keep thinking, Rich, about this season, and I just keep thinking about the massive roller coaster. It's so nice that almost everything has been tied up in many different areas, and we can probably enjoy the game. And we can just do 2 scouting missions. We can scout Anderson on Sunday, and we can scout Belieber the following Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. We're gonna jump into the tactics board in a second. Danny says the last time we battered a team, we were dominant for 80 to 90 minutes. I don't think a team's ever dominant for 90 minutes. I mean, if you can give me an example of which one that's going to be, I think Man United. I think we controlled the game massively against Manchester City. I thought we dominated City in that game, and I don't know which game you're talking about, but I don't think any team controls the game for 90 minutes in the Premier League. It's such a difficult league to try and do that in. So welcome back to our friend the tactics board. Let's say goodbye to Bruno for a little second. Maybe we'll talk about Bruno later. And so, what are you thinking regarding there's team news? There is going to be a few people not available.
Well, so with United, Casemiro thankfully is back, which means more than likely Mount is on the bench. He has an interesting question to ask himself about who he plays in the centre of defence. Does he stick with Martinez? Because Martinez has come very close to getting sent off the previous match. Is he going to look at that? Or is he going to just say, look, it happened, we move on. I need to stick to seniority. I want to fix backline, and I will stick with Martinez. And then also going up front, unfortunately, Sesko is still out. Good news though, Agate's back.
Yeah, are we going to give him a final farewell at Old Trafford as well? Can we sub him on minute 1 or something and go, right, that's it?
Possibly, but yeah, the unfortunate news is Sesko is out. I think it's interesting, so many times I said in the season, yeah, he's great coming off the bench, and he has been, and yet when he's not available, you suddenly you realize how broken we are in options. We just don't have the options, and he has 2 options up front. He can either go with Xerxes and play the physical game against Forest, or he can go with Mbeumo and look for quick transitions. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. If he does go with Mbeumo up front, then possibly Ahmed comes in. Cunha's on the left, but don't be surprised if Dorgu also gets a look into. But we've got wingers, and what's really interesting about Nottingham Forest is that they've got Willy Boley out, they've got Aina out, and they've got Murillo out. So normally they would play a 4-2-3-1 and have 2 bags of 4 and go for a 4-4-2 and give the opposition the ball. They may have to change that. They changed it in the previous match to a 3-4-1-2. And they've also changed it to a 3-4-2-1. So it looks like they will do that. And that may work to our advantage, because all we need to do is keep Ahmed and Cunha up front and pin their wing backs pin them high, and that won't allow them. So that will create space. You get someone like Casemiro who can anchor, and then you get Kobe running in from deep, finding Bruno, finding Mbumo. By doing so, Mbumo will take a defender away, and then you've got to have Ahmed and Cunha making darting runs into the box. And that's the way I would play it. So it's going to be an interesting match to see which he goes for. If he goes for Xerxes, it's a bit more of a different game.
Yeah, people got any sort of suggestions they want to see with different people on the pitch? Always get them in. Welcome Mo to the chat. He said the fans could boot. Yeah, let's not be nasty to Agate. It's not his fault. He's not of the level required. I don't think he doesn't try. I just think he doesn't really work in the Premier League, and it's someone we should have been probably not signed. Do you see like for the danger? Do you think Chris Wood is going to be like? I think when they missed Wood a lot when he was out, and it's a key player for them to get back. I think when you're looking at the team as well, I can't remember who was linked to Amari Hutchinson. I think it might have been Brentford when they were looking to try and replace Mbeumo. But I think clearly that the key is going to be. I might have to look at the profile of Ryan Yates actually and see how he works with Anderson because I'm getting a bit too interested in midfield partnerships at the moment, given the Casemiro story. And I was just thinking, how is that going to work? Like, because I think Elliot Anderson does a bit of everything. I think the question is going to be, is he going to be a, a massive problem for us this season? And I think we know the quality, don't we? I don't think this game's going to define whether we want to get him or not, but we know the quality he's got.
Yeah, and to be fair, Ali Anderson's had an array of players. Dominguez is another partnership he's had alongside him, and up front, Bakawa's also been playing there. Awioni's also been playing there. So they have quite a few options up front. It's good. It'd be good for them to have Chris Wood back. He's had joy against us in the past. He's a physical, dominant player. So that's going to be interesting to see how
I
we
think that's the
align with
sort of
him.
player that's the sort of player that would probably cause Aiden Heaven a lot of problems. No, it's not Aiden Heaven. I'm sorry, Yoro a lot of problems. I think having Maguire and Heaven there would be
Yeah.
sensible with Chris Woods. I was actually surprised to see that Lissandro Martinez is his aerial ability or like winning duels is like actually really high. It's like it's way better than Senesi, which I was a bit surprised by, like percentage wise. But I'm thinking this one like Chris Woods is going to be a problem for an inexperienced defender. But if you've got Maguire and Aiden Heaven, I think that's for me that's actually my favourite partnership at the moment. I do think Yoro is quality, but I think at the moment because of the Premier League and the physical sort of attackers we've had to deal with, I think Yoro is someone. I think Yoro will play a very important part next season. But I think Aiden Heaven and Maguire for me are going to be maybe we're going to see Aiden Heaven actually overtake Yoro in terms of like how quickly it cements the first team place.
Yeah,
But otherwise, yeah, go on.
I was going to say because physically he's much more adapt for the Premier League, and also he's been playing at Arsenal. He knows what the Premier League looks like. He's been playing against big players. Euros coming from France. It's a different league, and there's been a time of adaptation for him, which hasn't had to have. He also is a better build. So I think Heaven's in his stride. Euro is still trying to find his stride. He's gone from a back three to a four. Two different managers, but it hasn't faced Heaven. It has faced Euro just ever so slightly.
Yeah. People got any thoughts or suggestions on that lineup as well? Cam35 says, have Mainu man Mark Anderson, see what happens. I don't think Mainu's going to be like a Ji-sung Park type. Like, I don't think Man United would. Like, Anderson's good, but I don't think he's the sort of player you man mark because he'd just drag you out of all position, wouldn't he? That Anderson for me is not the. He's a very effective player, but it's not the same as trying to. Like, you don't have to take Anderson out of the game to beat Forest. I don't think he's that sort of player.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting to see how they approach this. They now know they're safe from the drop. So will they come at us? Normally, what they generally do is allow the opposition to have the ball and wait for a mistake. And it seems to be a lot of how Premier League teams are stepping up now. They allow teams to have the ball, wait for that mistake, and then jump. and it's a quick, fast moving, quick transition. And I quite enjoy that type of football. I like that. People call it counter attack. I call it clever play.
It's sensible, isn't it? You play to
Yeah,
your strengths. Do you remember when I think Nottingham Forest? I watched them against Liverpool last season, the game they won when they almost like went on a run to the Champions League, and the way they played was they absorbed attacks. They were very disciplined, but they had an elite pace with people like Alanga, and
yeah,
they played exactly like Man United did under Ollie against Man City. So they had a game plan which worked. And this season, they've obviously had a lot more. They had a lot more games with European competition. They've struggled a little bit, but also Chris Woods being missing, he had a very good season. I was going to say regarding this one, I think it's when you're talking about starting and experience, I think it's a genuine thing because what I'm saying is that I'm saying Aiden Heaven is very inexperienced, but I'm saying start him, but I'm not saying start two inexperienced centre backs together. If Yoro was in the team with Aiden Heaven, I would feel comfortable about that as well. I just think you don't start two inexperienced players against like a very experienced physical striker. It doesn't for me. It's not the most sensible approach. And it might be that Maguire doesn't play that many games, and Heaven and Yoro can play other games, but uh, that might be something they work on in training, work on for next season. But yeah, I don't think we can do this, Daz. I mean, it has been suggested, but you know, I was thinking regarding Anderson that you know how you have whatever happens in the game at the end of the match, people will be shaking hands and whatever, you know, people talking to each other. There's going to be some photos, isn't there, from this match? And
yeah.
there's going
Watching
to be a
headlines.
photo of like either Carrick talking to Anderson or Bruno talking to Anderson, and it's going to be like in the I don't know Manchester Evening News, or it'll be posted on Twitter, and they'll be like, "Is Agent Bruno?" You know what I mean? And I know this is going to happen, no matter what the score is going to happen. There's going to be some sort of story about Anderson. It feels like inevitable, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, certainly. They'll be looking for that. I'm so surprised that the stories haven't come out already because generally what they do is whenever you're going to be playing a team, they'll pick out one player and the news starts picking up. They haven't done that this time. I just kind of think it's because they don't want Man United to have Anderson. I think there's big portions
No,
of the
I
media
was actually a
who
bit
really don't want that.
disappointed that Murillo's not available, even though he's quality, because he's been talked about and Nottingham Forest really rates him. So I was actually thinking that might be quite good to see as well. Welcome to the chat. And so you're saying that you feel Maynard would thrive if he's given the freedom in midfield as long as Casemiro is disciplined to sit back and break down attacks. I think
I agree.
I agree with your point. I'm just wondering, like, it's Casemiro's last game at Old Trafford. How disciplined is he going to be, or is he going to be when we're on the attack? I think Casemiro is going to be thinking, "Can I get one more goal at Old Trafford?" I know he's like a model professional, but yeah, I think
Well,
regarding like relegation, I
I
think
think
Forest are safe, aren't they?
they
Like
are.
Nottingham Forest are safe.
They are safe,
So
yeah. And I was going to say, but what's been really interesting about Manning and Casemiro relationship is that they've been switching, where at times Main's come deep and Casemiro's run forward, and at other times Casemiro's become the anchor and Main's run forward. So I think that movement can happen on Sunday. I think they have that understanding, you know, and it's a really interesting understanding because they do it so well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Casemiro is lunging a ball into the box. I'm certainly expecting to be trying to get his header, and Bruno looking for him on his final home match when we get corners. So yeah, don't be surprised if there's a goal coming there. But yeah, if I think the idea probably will be for Casemiro to anchor and Kobe to make runs in from deep because he is so good on the ball in tight spaces with both feet. I mean, the guy is electric, and his relationship with Bruno has got stronger and stronger. Who'd have thought, hey?
it's good. With this, the only thing I could think of is that, and Bremen must get a bit annoyed being the kind of default, like you're the striker because Sasko's injured, and it's not that he's bad in that position, but it's not ideal for me.
Now hear it, and you know it's so difficult for Mbuma because he's come from a winger to an inside to a right attacking midfielder. He likes to drift into the wing. there's been trying to understand that position, and then suddenly you move to the striker role. So you're getting lodged, and those relationships change, and you're being asked to do different things. So it's not the greatest, but you know what? Give him credit; he still tries, and I see that guy running and defending at the same time, and that's all you can ask for your players. He's being asked to cover two roles, and he tries to do his best. His touch has kind of let him down in the last 2 or 3 games, whereas he would have been putting him in at the beginning of the season. But form is temporary, class is permanent. And Mbeumo has consistently scored and assisted in the Premier League. That should return next season when we get more depth, and then maybe Mbeumo is able to hold down one position, and on the odd occasion come in for cover. This season he's been split between the two, which is never helpful for a player.
No, part of me thinks why not try Cunha in the centre and put Mbeumo back on the right, move on with Jolo to the left, or if Dorgu's available, maybe try Dorgu. And I just wondering if that gets the best out of the team. Mickey says, "Who asked or wanted Xerxes and Agate, and are anyone else going to do more of this?" This really good question. Really good. I don't know. I think Agate's got a good agent. I'll say that he's got Mendes in his corner, and he managed to broker a deal to United. Honestly, I've no idea. I know that at the time it was questionable, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. I think this might be. Do you get the feeling this might be the reason why most signings are now Premier League players? Whether we agree or not, I think they're a bit worried that players might not adapt. I would say I don't think Agate and Xerxes were doing enough in the countries they're already playing in and the leagues they're already playing in to suggest they'd be good enough anyway. But that was my opinion at the time.
I think they were a bit wet behind. It was their first summer, wasn't it, of spending? And I think Ineos were a bit wet behind the
Do we
ears. They
do we
didn't.
do they actually put together the team quite shortly before that summer? Because we're talking now about two summers ago, aren't we? And that
Yeah,
was so I don't think they've been in the role that long in
they,
terms
they
of
yeah, they'd come in. The agreement to sign the club was January, February. They were doing looking at the club where they needed to make changes for about 2 months till about April, May. They then decided to extend Haag's contract. They then brought out Chappie from Newcastle, and then we saw how that kind of imploded within about a few months of itself. And I think they overpaid for Euro, but they wanted to bring him in again. Agate, I don't quite fully understand the thinking behind that. So I think some of it they banged on. They got great deals for De Ligt and Mazarawi. Xerxes was another. So it was just, I think some were hit and some were miss. You then look at them a year later in the summer window, all four of them have been hits as far as I'm concerned. So I kind of have to kind of just give them a bit on that. I think they were just, they weren't at the races, but if they'd done that again last summer, I'd have red flags and alarm bells going off. But they hit it bang on last summer.
it
So I'm
seems
very
that it's getting
hopeful.
better. Like a
Yeah.
few years ago, it was a disaster with people like Sancho and Anderson and Anthony, and it feels like it's got better. Maybe unlucky with De Ligt with injuries, but it felt like we were getting a bit better. But I say Agate was a bit too much money. And I think we're getting, and then last season was a lot better and actually better prices for some of the players.
Yeah.
I agree with Daz. It's probably the strongest team against Forest, isn't it? I don't think we're going to not put out a strong team in the last home game.
Yeah, look. It's still that we need 1 point from the last six is to kind of cement third place, and there is you do want to cement third place because it's probably another £1 million in your revenue. So it's important we do that, and we want to finish strong. It sends a good message to all the other Premier League clubs. It sends a good message in the team. It leaves a good feeling with the team. It's his first game as permanent manager, if that is defined and stated before the match. It's all but done. So the players have said they want to die for this manager on the pitch. Well, let's see them do it on Sunday.
Let's see them do it twice a week next season as well. Let's see if they can do that. I've seen Man United put effort in once a week, but let's see it twice a week as well. Have we tried Mainu plus Agate? I'm just trying to think that how many has Casemiro missed games? That Mainu missed a couple of games, didn't he? And then we saw Agate and Casemiro. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think. I think Casemiro's generally been playing 90 minutes, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think. Look, I think Agate's got qualities. It just didn't work out. They're not the qualities that we needed.
No. Well, he's quite good at winning the ball back. He's quite good in duels, but when you look at the rest of it, it's no. I
Yeah,
think the eye test confirms it when you watch him play. He's a bit panicky as well.
yeah, yeah,
Mickey says he's a bit worried with nothing to play for. I'm more worried we won't turn up. I think well, one of the leadership players of the leadership group, Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes has got a lot to play for because
yeah.
he's trying to break a record. So I think Bruno Fernandes will be motivating the players himself. I think Brian Mbeumo was fairly self-motivated. Cunha will be as well, I'm sure. I think with someone like Aiden Heaven, if he's in the team, and Mazraoui, maybe they're playing for their position. So I think I do agree with your point though, and it's just about getting one more point to get over the line. But Bruno Fernandes has got a lot of personal milestones to try and accomplish. I'm sure that as captain, like they're going to put in a good performance at Old Trafford. The next game might be different though. I don't know what the team's going to be like for the last game of the season. You never know regarding that one. Cakes just joined the chat and he says that back line is bang average. I'd say Aiden Evans is going to be a good player. And I mean, Harry Maguire was an important player for winning games this season. But I agree with you. Fullbacks, I think it's an issue. But do you think we do anything in the summer? Like, I think we might go for a left back. But honestly, if you want to see a new back line, you might have to wait to 2027 transfer window.
People talk about players you can get from Newcastle. Get me a Lewis Hall. Get me a Lewis Hall. I'd be very happy with that. Whether it's doable or not.
I'd
Um,
get Lewis Hall instead of Tonali.
yeah,
Honestly,
me too.
having a look at the players, I think Tonali would be. I don't think Tonali addresses what we need when Casemiro leaves. I think
Yeah,
Lewis Hall certainly upgrades a position in our first team massively.
yeah,
I'd go. I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I would go all out for Lewis Hall,
yeah.
and I'd look at other midfield options. I would probably be. No, I'd probably go for I don't know, a few options rather than Tonali.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you know my views on Tonali. I think he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I just worry about all of the noise that's surrounding him. So, and it hasn't stopped. It just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming.
I was looking at kind of what he's been doing this season at Newcastle, and it was that he doesn't win the ball back a lot. And I was just thinking, him and Mainu, it might be a bit of a vulnerability. He doesn't really score enough goal. I don't think he does enough. I don't think he does
Yeah.
anything as good as Casemiro. That's the worry. Whereas a lot of other players, they can match what bits of Casemiro.
So
Um,
if you're looking at an elite midfielder, Tchouaméni and Anderson, to me, are elite in every sense. If you get one of those, it's a game changer. It really is.
would I sell Euro if a good offer came in for him? I don't know. I think it's a bit too early to talk about selling Euro. We've been playing in a back three for like what? How long? Like 18 months. Then we switched to a different formation. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's given how much they spent for him. I think Euro's got is unbelievable sort of tackling, and I think he's seen as the future. I don't know. It would have to be a serious offer, and we'd have to find someone we think is going to come in and replace him. But I don't know. It's a difficult question.
With Euro, if he's come from France, he's had to settle in. He's 20 years of age. I think people forget he's still a young lad. He's had to, like you say, change two different formations. He's played with about seven different defenders alongside him. He's had two different managers. You know, so when you've got all of that stuff going on anyway, your form can be up and down. You come to a new league, new country, new teammates. There's a settling in period. But when there's so much disruption going on at the club you're at, that doesn't help that issue. And it's so important that players come and settle. You know what it's like. If you're settled, then you're able to your springboard, your foundation is strong. He hasn't had that.
Also, he had how long? Like he had a season where behind him was Anana or Bindia,
Yeah,
and that must be so unsettling considering how erratic those two goalkeepers were for a season. And I think with like say Aiden Heaven, I think like you said, he's played in the Arsenal academy. He has played in midfield a bit as well. Physically, he's really strong. He's suited for the Premier League. I think for me, I did agree with this comment that Mickey put up that I think what you're looking at is two players that complement each other long term. Like when you're saying like who's like Bilal said someone told you you're is better than Heaven, but you disagree. I think they're different players, and at 19 and 20, I don't know who's the best. I think they have different skill sets. If you're looking at who's going to be doing well in the air against a physical opponent, Aiden Heaven. If you're looking at last ditch tackles, then I think Yoro is very good at that. If you're looking at composure, bringing the ball out, they're actually both quite good at that. So and I did like the comparison someone put in there as well regarding, I see Mickey put a comment and said he saw Euro as being similar to Rio Ferdinand. And I kind of saw it that maybe they're trying to get a like a Vidic Ferdinand type partnership where Aiden Heaven clearly isn't. Well, he actually does go in quite hard sometimes, but he's not quite as like Nemanja Vidic was a what's the best way of putting it? He was like a machine, wasn't he? And he was at his best, he was a physical presence, actually brutal in the tackle. I think Aiden Heaven, it's difficult to compare these two players to those sort of legends, but you can see that there is something there with Aiden Heaven, and I think there's something there with Yoro, but they're 19 and 20. And this is something that, Rio Ferdinand was at West Ham for a while. He was played a lot for Leeds, took Leeds to like the European Cup semi-final, and then we got him. So we bought prime Rio Ferdinand that had already gone for a couple of clubs, and I think that give Yoro a year or so before you can start kind of assessing where he's going to go. And Aiden Heavens played about 25 games. So give him another year or so, and I think we'll see a really good player. And then Maguire will be gone. Like Maguire won't get in the team, I think, in a year, so he can go.
Yeah. And I think it's so important. Look, we need a bit of seniority. I kind of had to, you had to drag me to that position because I kind of wanted to clear out. I wanted to kind of change it up. I was like bringing another 28-year-old, get rid of some of these old players. I just don't think they can do all of that. Ideally, they could, but I just don't think they can do that in one summer. And I think that's what they will look to next summer.
Yeah, I agree with United side die. It says Yours fantastic and Heaven, but you need a bit of experience next to them so they can learn. It's just a learning curve, isn't it? And the only way you learn is by playing football, making mistakes, but playing alongside experienced players as well. So, so you don't think Bind is as bad as I'm suggesting as a backup? I think he's maybe it's difference of opinions, but I just think Bind is dreadful. Like when I watched him play, I think he's really bad. That is, if you disagree, that's fine. But I just thought Binder was, I don't know, the worst goalkeeper I've seen for, I don't know, ever, nearly ever. I think for me.
Yeah. Just didn't do the basics right for me. Binder, and and you just didn't feel safe with both Binder and Anana in between the sticks. You knew they were going to be caught out by goals that could easily be saved. They weren't as commanding as they needed to be in their box. You could beat them from swinging a ball in from a corner. I mean, it was just, it's unfortunate.
Binder couldn't save. I think Binder was struggling with long distance free kicks and positioning, shot stopping. I don't know. There's just so many things that Binder, when you look at someone and you think, are you a professional goalkeeper? Because you look a bit worried about everything. And I'm not saying Binder can't go somewhere else and have a good career. Maybe Man United was just a bad move. Um,
Yeah, step too high.
yeah, does De Ligt need replacing? Says Matty.
It's interesting. When I look at both De Ligt and Martinez, I have huge concerns because of injury records. I just have huge concerns. And I have a concern also about temperament now with Martinez. So I'm worried about those two because you would have looked at those two signings and thought, these are strong centre back pairing, that could do well and continue for a while. It just hasn't turned out that way. So I think one of those two certainly has to go.
Yeah, no, I agree with Mickey that I think the quality of signings coming in, like I think the quality is really good. Like Lamans was a good signing, the outfield players were good signings, but it's not enough, is it? Like there's not enough players coming in and out. That it might be that Man United had this excuse a year ago about financial issues, which okay, we have to just assume that that's accurate. But you got to look at the financial situation improving a lot and thinking if you want to keep building and if the Glazers want to make money from Man United, which they do, you've got to be in the Champions League as a minimum. Like if you start dropping down, it's going to be very difficult because the financial rules in football, you can only spend so much. If our turnover gets hit, it affects how much we can spend on players. It's just a no-brainer, isn't it? Think how much the sponsorship deals are going to go up when United are back in Champions League as well. So I think you look at it and go, we should be able to do more deals. If you don't do more deals this summer, and it's not about doing like loads and loads of deals for the sake of doing deals. We need to do a lot of good quality deals.
I think they've done well. I mean, look, I'm loath to say anything positive about Ineos, and that's me being completely honest.
Yeah, I don't trust them at all. Put
Yeah,
it that way.
but they last season they took a gamble. They realised we only have one game a week, and so
Yeah,
they got rid of players. And yeah, to a greater or lesser degree, they got away with it. This summer they know they're in the Champions League. They know they need to add depth. They've also removed players that weren't functioning in this get-up, either under Amrin or Carrick. So that's movement, and they're going to be able to sell those players, which gives us revenue to then spend. We also have a big headroom now because of the way we look at stripped away the club to spend this summer. It's up to them to be spending that money. So sometimes these things happen. I think they got away with it, and we're third. We're in the Champions League. All they need to do now this summer is make sure they provide the manager with the tools to be able to succeed.
sounds like it sounds straightforward, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like, do you remember when we had this conversation in December where we said you just need to arrange the team differently and our midfield might
Yes.
look more functional? And it feels a bit like we're sat here just going, just get a backup striker. It doesn't have to be like I'm not asking for Mbappe, just a Premier League quality backup striker that is going to be someone that can come off the bench and play effectively. It doesn't have to cost £1 million. And if you're looking at some of the other options, you think, look at the squad and go, is the squad big enough to, like, if you're going to have an extra £90 million in prize money for competing in the Champions League, the reason why the teams have to have bigger squads is because you have to play a lot more high level football. I don't really worry about the competition level in the group stage. I think the Premier League team should be fine. Like we're going to be playing teams that are similar level to, if we can beat teams like Man City and we can beat Arsenal, Liverpool, that's going to be fine. We're not going to be playing Paris Saint-Germain 8 times. We're going to have a range of ability teams we play against. I'm not worried. I'm just concerned that we have like multiple games quite quickly, and then we have to start rotating more. I'm just wondering who those players are going to come in. Like Lamans, for me, we need a backup goalkeeper. I think Vitek is 50-50 whether he wants to be a backup goalkeeper. If he doesn't, then maybe we can loan him. I think we probably, if he doesn't want to be a backup goalkeeper, I think we probably have to sell him and then buy a backup goalkeeper.
I keep hearing this, but I mean, I'm off the hook like this. You're under contract. You can sit on
Yeah,
bench. You can hold bench for a year. If you cause trouble, then you're gone next summer. And that's where I would look at it. But I would keep him on that bench, and don't worry about that this season. I would tell Onana and Bayern to go. We've got bigger things to worry about. I'm glad Vitek is a good player, and he's not happy about sitting on the bench because maybe when he comes off the bench, he'll perform. So I would say that you're contracted to us. The ball's in our court. You signed this contract. You're not going
yeah.
anywhere because we need you here. And, that's what I would do. To be fair.
Yeah, I was thinking that considering he went on loan to Bristol City, did really well there. I would say surely that there's enough football to be a goalkeeper at Manchester United as a backup for a season has got to be like a big step up. You could be in the Champions League, you could be playing, you could potentially like win a domestic cup as well if they put you in a cup team, and it could be if you want to get a top move. Like playing for Bristol City is one thing, but if you're a backup goalkeeper at United and you get a few games in the Premier, maybe not the Premier League, but if you get a few cup games and you do well, you get a Champions League game and do well, it's going to be better for you anyway. It might be that we can't keep him as a backup, and that's just you know we'll have to look at that. But it would be quite nice. It'd be quite nice if he did stay. Like I know he doesn't. It's almost like a weird problem, isn't it? Because with goalkeepers, it's the one position at the club that you don't really want competition in because you want to have generally a first choice, a second choice, and then the third choice goalkeeper. People might get excited about us keeping a goalkeeper that's like what 39, 40, but he's generally is pretty much 95% a coach, and apparently he's just there for. He organises training sessions. He's there. He does an important role behind the scenes we don't see. But I think that's one thing that it's not the worst problem, is it? Because we've got a very good goalkeeper and potentially a very good backup. Even if he needs a bit of convincing, I think he will be. I think he'll probably be there next season.
Yeah, I think he should be. I keep hearing this noise about he won't be happy, and it's kind of like, what are we running here? This is a football club. It's a business. You're under contract. Do your job.
Yeah, that's good, Roy Keane. Andy said, De Ligt, give him a chance to recover from the back injury now. Say he's had his operation, giving him a chance to redeem himself. De Ligt's been here, what, 2 years? Is it 2 years? I'll say this. I would say with De Ligt, I think it's you only have this kind of gut feeling about certain players. I think Lisandro Martinez, he feels like he's one injury away from like that's it. With De Ligt, I'm not even sure we're going to see much of De Ligt next season. I think if United, I get the feeling that when they're saying Lisandro Martinez is definitely not for sale, I'm wondering if there is something like seriously concerning about De Ligt. Like, is De Ligt going to actually play again? That it feels a bit, when there's no information. He's had an operation. Is it today? I think United should be looking at getting a centre back. To be honest, like even how many games is Harry Maguire going to play? How many games is De Ligt going to play? And how many games is Lisandro Martinez going to play? And are those three players effectively going to give us one season's worth of games, like for one healthy player?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the gamble they may play on is that one of those two it does remain fit. If not two, they also may gamble. Mazraoui can cover as a centre back. Luke Shaw
I
can
know, no,
cover as centre back.
I
But
don't know, Man United, no.
this is what they might do. And then you've got Hayden, Evan, and you've got Euro. And this is but if they are going to go down that route, they need to get two decent fullbacks in. They really do.
Yeah, I would say don't let too many hit that, because I don't want too many come into the club, and then they go, right, welcome to the
You
club,
can play
Jermaine.
centre
Are
back.
you familiar? Are you familiar with the centre back position? Okay,
Could you imagine? Oh my gosh.
yeah, it feels a little bit like if the centre back and the defence situation feels like it's going to be. I think it's going to be a bit of a mediocre year in terms of defence. I think we're not going to get any improvements in terms of like we might get a left back. If we got Lewis Hall, I'd be suddenly going, oh, okay, that's a big improvement. And I think Aiden Heaven and Maguire, Yoro are good. I'm a bit unsure about Lisandro Martinez. I think he's okay. I know people do like him, but I'm a bit concerned that De Ligt might be a passenger for a lot of the season. That's all I'm thinking.
I had such high hopes for De Ligt. I kind of thought, oh, maybe future captain. That's what I was thinking when he came in, because I thought he's
No,
got the qualities, and it just hasn't worked out.
he's
And
kind of just like dropped off a cliff, hasn't he? And it's
yeah,
not necessarily. It's just like the injury issues have meant he's gone from being possibly like one of our most important players to essentially never playing football. Um,
I saw
big up to you, Cody. Good to see you.
I was going to say I saw moments from De Ligt, and
Mhm.
I think I never got to see a consistent performing defender, and I think that's alarming.
Um,
That's a sad point about it all.
with Andy, I was going to say, Andy, that I would probably get rid of De Ligt if possible, but I think Man United should buy a left back. That I agree that. But if we bought a left back, I don't know if Luke Shaw actually leaves or whether Luke Shaw stays as a backup to someone like Lewis Hall. I don't know. I think so. Whatever happens, even if Man United buy a top quality left back, you still need like some cover because you don't know what's going to happen. So I'd hate to see if we got rid of Luke Shaw and then we had Lewis Hall, and then Lewis Hall got an injury or suspended or something. Then we're kind of in the same situation, aren't we?
Yeah, and we got Dorgu who's there. Shaw's only got a contract for another year. My biggest fear is that they run that contract down and then they do exactly what they did with Maguire and extend it. It's kind of like get these players in. This is my fear about them. If
Please
I
no.
if I could, I would. Shaw would be gone this summer. In answer to Andy's question, but it's kind of like Shaw. The difference between Shaw and De Ligt is he's available. He has started every single match this season. My head is blowing up saying that sentence. Luke Shaw starting every single match this season. which is absolute crazy. And I think that's why he's important to the team, because our options are low in the back line. And at times he's come in as left centre back too. So as much as I've had a lot of difficulty with Luke Shaw, this has probably been one of his better seasons, if not his best season, in regards to where he's been able to cover as left back, cover as left centre back. Not the best left back, no overlapping as much as I would like to see, but moments of it. And he's covered as left centre back and in the free. And he's been available for every single match. So you can't fault him for that. But I hear the sentiment, we should be replacing these players. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like, make Luke Shaw the backup. Like he's the first team player this season. Make Luke Shaw the backup for a season, and then move, then get a left back and right back next season. Get a left back this season, and then get a left back and right back maybe next season. Would be because I get the feeling we're going to be spending majority of money on defense next season. That would be. It seems a bit weird, doesn't it? I don't know why we can't fix
Cycles.
more than one aspect of our team. Unless for some reason our scouts or our senior officials at Man United can only work on one aspect of the team. So we should be grateful. We should be grateful they fixed the forward lineup and the goalkeeper in one window. Can you imagine if we pushed the goalkeeper back for a couple of years? That would have been
I'm
a
hoping next.
disaster.
I'm hoping next season we hit different pockets. I think they've been on a defensive secondment, an attacking
I'll just say to
secondment.
Omar, Sesko's not available. That's the only reason. That's the
Yeah,
reason. Otherwise, we put Sesko in the team.
yeah.
Um, so unfortunately, is there anybody else that's injured? Because we don't really have a huge amount of options.
Is
Have you
anybody?
seen that? You said you were worried, or someone in the comments or yourself said, would we give Luke Shaw an extension? I think Man United's new policy is I don't think there's going to be any extensions if it is at all possible. And I saw a story this morning that apparently Mason Mount, there's rumours he might get loaned out to Coventry. And with that one, I was just thinking that all you can see there is Mason Mount's salary is about £250,000 a week. That for me, that money would be well spent on a too many salary, an Elliot Anderson salary. It effectively covers a top quality player salary, doesn't it? £250,000
Yeah,
a week, and it looks like Man United. We can't sell him the same way we couldn't sell like Rashford at the time. We couldn't sell Sancho, so I think that might be something that it seriously happens. Man United might try and you know oil the kind of wheels to get that moving. And Mason Mount, I think he could be an effective player somewhere else. That assuming he avoids injury, but he has been a bit better recently, and that might be something that maybe teams coming up from the Championship, like Coventry, it seems like a weird move, but maybe that could potentially happen. That if he's not going to get any games of football at Man United, maybe he does that. I don't know.
it's on Mount, really, isn't it? Whether he bides his time and says, "No, I'm at United." Look, we need to take that number 7 shirt off him, regardless. We just need to get the number 7 shirt
I
back.
know.
I'm sorry, I don't really care what he feels about it. We need to get that 7 number shirt off him because it's not been utilised. It's been so denigrated, and give to someone who deserves it. Maybe one of the
Yeah,
new
you need.
midfielders.
I think you need to we need to kind of hold fire a bit with that one and go right. If Ritter wants to be number one, fight for it. It's under contract.
Yeah.
They might go. We'll see. I think a lot of stories are saying a few things, but I don't think Man United are. Let's be honest. That are Man United going to be in a position to actually get a goalkeeper signed as well to replace Vitek? I would question whether we were that organised. Um,
It's like we said, we shouldn't have to. We've got
so
one.
United side
We've
Di
got
says
3.
if they give Shaw an extension, I'm going to throw something at Jim. Okay, can you take your camera with you and can you film it so we can watch?
Yeah, watch it. Yeah.
I say actually no, it make quite good content, but I don't think you want to be filmed doing that. Like to be honest though, you probably get a round of applause from a lot of Man United fans. At this point, I don't think Jim can say anything, even if it's good news. I think people would boo him.
Yeah.
No, one of the things I think about when people talk about Ineos is when they say like Ineos bought Nice. The hope I've got, this is the hope I got, okay, and I know it. I don't. I've said this a lot of times. So if you're new to the channel, I don't trust Jim Radcliffe. I don't trust a lot of people. I think that's just my default position. And I'm just thinking because they got someone like Vavell who seems to be quite good in terms of like working out which players are worth signing, and Carrick I think is a competent coach. I think that we might have a better chance than Nice because we've got like Ineos as a company, but the people they got on like doing the day-to-day work, I think we've got better people than Nice at the club. That's kind of the hope I got. So I know Ineos as a company, we don't trust them, and their intentions might not be great, but I think Christopher Vavell knows what he's doing. I think scouts know what they're doing, and hopefully that's the difference between Man United because I think Nice are about 18th in the league, and I think also I think Ineos have lost interest in Nice completely because they're trying to sell them, aren't they? I don't think they give a crap about Nice anymore, which is obviously not great because they own our club as well, or own a bit of our club.
I wish they'd sell ours, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I wish they would. I wish they would.
I wish they'd all go.
Big up to you. Big up, Mr. Cake. Thank you so much for the super chat. He said, "I'd swap Mount for a bag of Revels."
Oh my God, I haven't had
So
Rebels in
don't make
ages.
the price too high, Cake. The other thing is like with this one, if Man United loaned Mason Mount out, like Cake's as an opening offer, bag of Rebels. I was thinking if somebody pays his salary like £250,000 a week, like over the season, what's that, £12.5 million?
Yeah,
Then
it's crazy, isn't it?
I would just like give him like Cake, like bag of Rebels. It saves us like £12 million, like over £12 million. So I'd do it immediately because Mason Mount, I don't think he's going to get into the team next season. So why keep him?
Do you know, I'm tasting all sorts of different types of Rebels in my mouth
No, I'm kind of
all
getting
of a
hungry, Cake.
sudden.
I know people need to be careful with food references because I get distracted by food. I was thinking, yeah, I kind of want chocolate now.
I,
This is a bit,
me too. I haven't had chocolate in about 4 weeks. It's hideous.
yeah. Come and defend yourself, Jim. No, Jim's not going to come on here, is he? And to be honest, I don't think I'd want to speak to Jim.
Oh God, no. No, thank you.
I'd say with this one, I think with this one, Daz, but with like the injuries, I think you've got to have some sort of patient confidentiality, but also, um, I don't. It doesn't look good, does it, from like the situation?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that situation needs to be sorted. And I think they need to sort one of them this summer. I think they need to really kind of be brave and say, right, we can't do anything with both these players being the way they are. One of them has to go. Whether they will, who knows?
Let me know what all the flavors, Cake. Been a while since I had them.
I can't remember them. God, there's that orange one. There's a peanut one. There's
Yeah,
minstrels
orange
in
is
there.
good, isn't it? Could do
Yeah.
some peanut M&Ms now. Actually, that'd
Oh
be quite good.
God.
Can you imagine how? Is there any way we can like get the channel sponsored by like peanut M&Ms or something? And
Darren, why do you keep weighing back chocolate? I'm so.
I was thinking, can you imagine if I said, right, you can come on the show as a guest, but you've got to basically eat Rebels or M&Ms and drink, I don't know, whatever your favorite beverages. I always thought that when I was younger, I think I was wearing a lot of. It might be when Man United were sponsored by Nike, and I had like a fair bit of Nike stuff. My uncle was like, "He's sponsored by Nike," and I was thinking it would be so amazing if I was because I literally get free clothes that I'm wearing
Yeah.
anyway. So I was thinking, is there any way I can be sponsored by like a curry company or something and eat that food? And
People used to think I was sponsored by Levi's. I used to wear so much Levi's back in the day. Oh my God. Did you ever wear those white Levi's jeans?
no, I don't have those.
Oh
I,
God.
ha- I had a lot of Adidas stuff at one point as well, like trainers, shorts, and if you're going to the gym, so it does look like I was. It would be nice to be sponsored. That's what I was saying. It would be a good idea though.
And just if you are tuning in, this is a football stream. Life is like a bag of Rebels. You never know which one you're going to get.
You know, I was talking to Alex recently, who's been a guest on the channel. I think we're going to do a keep sell kind of stream at some point, and say Jim should buy Rich a 10K super chat. He should do, shouldn't it? Say, come on, Jim, put your money. Thing is, though, if Jim's sacking dinner ladies, he's not going to. He's not going to give money. He's not the sort of person to show any sort of philanthropy towards fans, is he? So
Forget the dinner ladies. He didn't even have a care for the disabled either. It's just kind of like,
no,
yeah, I don't see it. He'll be asking you for money.
yeah. Okay, so going back to this, we should do some score predictions. Let's say you saw a report that Jim Radcliffe's net worth dropped by 2 billion.
He's 13 billion in debt.
Yeah, the
13 billion. It was 11 billion about a year ago.
yeah. Put them all into one message cake. I can only put 4 options though, if you really want that. If you really want that. Okay, so we'll do some score predictions. And as a side line, we'll do a Rebels poll for cake just to. I have got actually. What I should do is that before we do the score predictions, I'll the sensible poll I've got running is football related, obviously, and that was who wins this match, and we got someone voted for Forest. Who voted for Forest? So Forest has got 3%. We got a draw with 13%, and 84% of people think Manchester United will win, which is the right answer, guys. Come on. Who voted for a Forest win? I think based on the votes and the percentage, it's one person. So come on. Must be like an Anderson fan. Thinks he's gonna. Okay, so score predictions. What are you thinking was a better? And Cake, just put one comment that I can see because I'm looking on the channel now, and I'll put the 4 flavors in. I'll give you the 4. I can do 4 options.
Kate, was that you?
Yeah. So, what do you reckon then? How do you see this game going score wise?
I think it's going to be a tough one again, really. If Ahmed is on his game and we can pin their wing backs high up the pitch and really basically change them into a 5-4-1, then we're going to have some joy. If we can't penetrate them, it's going to be another game like the previous match. But I'm tempted to say we will get it together. I wish Sesko was available, but I think Casemiro being available makes a huge difference. It allows us to control the match from midfield. I'm really excited to see how that pans out in the game, and how we shut out the likes of Ego Jesus, who's very physical too, and Chris Wood and Amari Hutchinson. So I'm going to go for a long answer to a very short question. United 2, Forest 0. I'm going for 2-0.
Okay. The poll's there in the chat, guys, so you can vote on that one. Okay. So let's go for a few of the score predictions. Bruno assists as Daz. I hope so. I hope so. So I'm going to try and go back up the chat and pull out score predictions for this one. So we got 1-0 to Bilal, and we got a 3-0 from Matty. Actually, we're probably getting better defensively, I think, over the last couple of months. Like we're getting a few. One of the things I quite like is that okay, people didn't like the win against Everton, but I thought it was quite good to grind out a 1-0.
Yeah.
I think grinding out 1-0 against Chelsea as well. Okay, sometimes you ride your luck, but we're getting. I think we're getting better at doing that. But 2-2 draw from the Basses. Was that the reverse game?
It
Was that the
was.
game we were 2-0 up and we threw it away?
So it was 1-0. No, they came back to 2-1 and
Yeah,
then
then
we
they were 1-0, weren't
equalised
they?
2-2. Yeah.
1-1, 2-1 United. Says United, I die. Forest are out of the Europa League, aren't they? They're done in that one.
Villa beat them, yeah. But that's because of their defensive issues. And they tried to play a back four against Villa in that match. It did not work out. And that's why I think they'll go for free. They just don't have the players. And that's a makeshift back three, by the way. So we should be exploiting that.
Yeah, this could be a good game. Do you think this could be a good game for Almajalo?
I think so, yeah. We just need to overload the wings and create 2v1s. That's all we need to do, and Maserati can overlap with him too.
Yeah, I still think Cunha's going to be like a key player. I get the feeling that he's the most likely threat at the moment in terms of goal scorers. So I'd probably say I'd love to see Mbeumo score a goal. You know how we had this conversation before Liverpool, and I said I really hope that Mainu has a good game, scores, and I wanted who else was it? Was it Sasko or I said I thought Cunha would score, and I hope Mainu would score. I'm kind of with this one. It'd be great to see Mbeumo score a goal or Almajola score a goal. One of those players that hasn't got so many recently.
Yeah,
And if Bruno gets an assist, then it'd be nice for him to equal the record.
that's all we need to
Welcome,
do.
Daz. It
We
says
just sorry.
if you get Anderson, I don't care who else. Um, I don't know. You might change your mind, Daz, if our transfer window is one player, and then we go. I like the fact that Man United are going to go big, but I think a bit of depth would be perfect. Number seven, yeah, I agree with this one. Did Ryan Giggs get number 11 pretty early on? I can't honestly remember.
I can't remember either. When he got his 11.
It's like too long ago, but because he had number 11 for such a long time that. But number seven, I think number seven. Why do we give Mason Mount number seven? It's like we just,
It's Ten
when
Hag.
you get players like Cantona, you go, he's an instant legend. And I think you just got to look at that, like Brian Robson, Cantona, like George Best. You got to be one of the best players in the team.
Yeah, I'm with you. Retire it until we've got someone who earns it.
And now I'm looking at the team and thinking, I don't know if I'd give it to anybody. Does that sound harsh?
No, no. I
So I
think
was
it's
looking at it,
fair.
think, I just look at it and go, who would you give the number seven, number 11 to? I don't know. At this point
Yeah.
in time, I don't think I'd give it to any of them. So that sounds bad, doesn't it? Because
The,
I
the
do say these are good players, but I think you've got to be,
the only player in that team that earns a number 7 shirt for me is Bruno.
yeah, I was thinking Bruno and then maybe, at the moment, recently, Cunha, I could see stepping up a level.
Yeah, he needs to do
No,
more. Oh, yeah.
we need to buy Diamonde. He needs to be outrageously good. And then we go, right, here's the 11. And then we go, right, now we need to find another player. Or maybe someone like Yildiz. He needs to come in, be phenomenal for a couple of years. Then we go, right, here's number 7. I don't know if we got those players of that quality in the team. 2-1 United for Berber. I'm usually like quite positive, but I was just thinking when you compare them to like some of the players we've had in the past, it's really difficult to. I think Bruno's probably the obvious one at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's the only one. To be fair,
So Giggs in number 7.
really.
Let me check. I don't think he. I don't know what Giggs wore. I check. Giggs' squad number history for people that want to know. He's worn various numbers. Apparently, he has worn like a 7 at one point in 1991 to 1992. So he wore 4, 7, 8, 11, and 12.
So he's won the 11 since 92, 93.
So he has worn a number 7, but he must have been like a small amount of games, it seems. So yeah, no, weirdly, in 1991 to 1992, he wore like a 14, which I was going to guess initially 14, 11, 16, 13, 12, 8.
Oh
He
my
wore the
gosh,
7 in 91, 92.
he wore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different numbers. 8 different numbers. Cool,
Was that
blimey.
before they had like squad numbers more? So they had like 1 to 11 more,
Must have
possibly.
been. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Breaking news. Giggs did wear the number 7. So, but I think the drop off is phenomenal, isn't it? Fortunately.
Yeah. When you see it like that, yeah.
No. When you see how much she's got as well, getting paid. Okay, people got some questions. We're not going to be too long tonight because I need to. I haven't got Rebels, but I'll probably have something else to eat. I have got like an eclair in the fridge actually, so I'll have
Oh,
that.
don't! I have to go to the shop and get some dark chocolate now.
Yeah, sorry, I
That's all
shouldn't have
I'm
said
allowed.
that. It's there's different rules on Friday in my house, so this is something I saw in the fridge and I thought, oh, I'll have that after the stream when I get a bit hungry.
God.
Um, Cunha and Bruno to score says United till I die. So I'm surprised you didn't say. Hang on, let me put this comment up. I'm surprised you didn't say Kobe the seven because the Kobe 11 here. Okay,
He doesn't like Kobe, does he?
I feel like with Kobe Manu, I I think I'm just trying to say be patient with Kobe Manu. I didn't say I've never said I think Kobe Manu is world class at this moment in time. I just think Kobe Manu's got all the attributes to be a good player, a very good player in the future. And I think people should just be patient with Kobe Manu and just see what happens.
Do you know about 16 to 18 months ago, it was leaked that United were going to make Kobe Manu the poster boy, and I was just like, leave him alone. He's a young lad. Stop giving him extra duties. Allow him to work on his game. And I think you have to do that with young players. Otherwise, you put them on a pedestal. You push them into the center of everything, and then suddenly football starts to wane off. It becomes almost secondary. So it's kind of like I wouldn't do any of that with him. And he's got if you look at his numbers, 3-7, he sees himself as a 10. He doesn't want the number 7 shirt.
Do you think with this one as well, like, the people at Man United have probably gone right? We can't make Rashford the poster boy anymore. He's gone. And we thought Anthony was going to be good. We thought Sancho was going to be good.
No more
And it's
poster
like
boys.
Garnacho's come through, and we had to move him on. And then it feels a bit like they're just going right. We need a marketing campaign. We need a younger player, and it's like mainly probably fits the bill. So I think it's not the best. Like
No.
you want to be picking your experienced players, don't you? And it seems like Man United. It just shows what's happened at the club. That if you're going to make a campaign, Bruno Fernandes is the guy, isn't he? That he's the one you'd be making your campaign around. But to try and appeal to younger fans, if they're trying to pick Manu,
Do you know
I
what I
think let
would
Manu
do?
focus on this game.
I'd pick Le Mans. I think if you want a poster boy of good professional football and character, I'd pick him. I really would. I would be so creative in doing it. I would do it with him. I think that's the kind of imagery that I want to be putting out there. I think leave the young lads just to kind of focus on their football. Give it to someone who's going to be a bit more humble with it. And I'm not saying Kobe Manu isn't humble. I just think he's too young. You know. That's what I liked about Ferguson. He used to protect the young players. He didn't put too much on them, and he was to bring them in and out of the team. And he did it so well. We've forgotten how to do that. I think our players, unfortunately, have been exploited to some degree because of the Glazers looking to merchandise
It's like a
everything.
marketing campaign, isn't
Yeah,
it? Where for us we go, look, I don't want to see the marketing campaigns and things. I just want to see Man United actually winning things on the pitch and
yeah.
winning games. And I think sometimes they're thinking about, oh, who can we use for this one as well? So we'll go for a few comments. If people have got some final comments, I would say if I see a hint of ego from Kobe, I think like I saw Kobe interview on Sky earlier. I sent a clip to a few people and I think they were just asking him about coming through the academy, and he's just saying that just that it's a dream for him to be where he is. He'd never thought about leaving the club, and I don't see that as well. I think if you look at it, you probably need to just see if you can find interviews with a player. But I think when you see the media spun, it tries to make it sensational.
Yeah,
That's
there
probably
is.
going to be what you
There,
see.
there is a media agenda against Mainu, and I think it all, from my view, looking at it, was when he went to that England training, it went to the England match, and they put him. And I was so angry at Southgate that put him in front of the reporters. When Kobe talks, he has a very stern face, right? I don't think that relationship built that day with those reporters, and I think the agenda was built from then there on in, and I think that's been really unfortunate for him because he keeps his head down 95% of the time. We had that bit of noise in December, but he keeps his head down and he comes on the pitch and he plays, and he's not on the back pages, he's not on the front pages, I should say. So I think there's an issue with the media, and they're trying to create a narrative about him, and I get so tired that players that look like Mainu always get the kind of the attitude or the lazy or the this or their trouble, and I always kind of have to look at it and think it's very unfair, because other players don't get it, and players like
I was kind of
Kobe will
open-minded
do.
because when they were saying that Khomeini couldn't like put in the effort on the pitch or the stamina, and he was covering more distance than other players, I just judge what I see on the pitch and go, I see a young football player that's 20 years old that's just turned 21, and the people already want to. Every single player gets compared with somebody else, don't they? So whenever I look at a new players, that when I looked at Dorgu to start with, the first article I read said it's like the next Gareth Bale. That's what they said. They said he's a player that's going to be a left back initially, but he's going to be a left attacking player. He's going to have the same sort of career trajectory as Gareth Bale. And I was like, wow, he's like, there's already this sort of comparison that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
So I'll go for a few comments, but
Cunha got in. I was going to say Cunha got it in the neck, didn't he? I mean, even before he'd arrived, they were dishing out comments about he walks on the pitch. Another lazy player. They're saying I have not seen anybody cover the pitch as much as Cunha this season.
No, the kind of propaganda about Cunha. As soon as Man United were going to sign Cunha, they said no one walks around as much as Cunha. But they didn't actually mention that also very few players make as many sprints per 90 minutes as Cunha as well. And maybe he's picking and choosing his moments for maximum exertion, because you can see when Cunha needs to do stuff, he does stuff, but he's not wasteful with his energy. That he's not going to. Yeah, I don't think any players, like if you can compare Cunha to another player, they probably cover the same amount of distance, but Cunha is making a lot of sprints. And if you're making a lot of sprints, I think anyone that knows, like if you're doing interval training and things like that, you can't sprint for 90 minutes. Like that's not how you're going to play football. But you have to manage your energy over the 90 minutes and make it the most effective use of it. I think Cunha does that. You can see when the game's near the end and it's tough, like Cunha is one of the best players on the pitch.
Yeah, they came for Cunha, and then even before the season started, the Athletic, what did they did? Or just as the season started, the Athletic done a report and saying who's the worst signings by all these pundits, and it was Sesko, and I was just kind of like, what's
should we bring Helgi off the bench? I can send Helgi a link and get him off the bench for 5 minutes.
Yeah, jump him on.
Let's get Helgi involved. So I'll just send you a link, Helgi, but let's have a look and get you on.
But yeah,
okay, link sent.
Did the same with Sesko, and it's just kind of like, we can see it. There are some people who believe it, because they don't see that this has been going on for decades.
So there's been more criticism of Cunha than Mount, and to say probably people don't know because this channel is relatively new, but maybe going back to like most of the season, we've been defending Cunha, haven't we? Against people saying, "What does Cunha do? What does he do?" And I was thinking, well, he if you watch the games of football, then you can make your own opinion. But if you look at stats, it's difficult to say sometimes. I think Cunha is somebody that he doesn't look when Man United are winning the game and it's really tough, say like at Anfield. The thing Cunha does is he doesn't lose possession. He does the shithousery. He keeps the ball. He wins free kicks. He makes opposition fans. If Cunha was playing against you, you'd hate him, and you wouldn't have to ask that question. When Cunha's on your team, and maybe it's not as noticeable, but when he's against you, bloody hell, he's like a pain in the ass, isn't he? You can't get the ball from him, and when you try and tackle him, you know how players are clever like that. And as soon as there's a bit of a contact from behind, Cunha will fall over slowly. He'll like win a free kick. He'll waste time.
Yeah,
and that's the sort of thing that not every single game, but in some games, it makes a difference. Like it got us over the line against Liverpool. It's important in other games. He's a match winner against. Well, probably like against Liverpool, he got the goal. He got a goal against Arsenal, goal against Chelsea.
He's a big game player, Cunha, and the shithousery is great. You know what? The amount of times I've seen him with having 2 or 3 players on him each time. They know he's a threat, and he's. I love his character. You don't hear anything about him. He keeps his head down, and he plays exquisite football. And he fights for the badge. He really fights for the badge. To me, that's a United player through and through, and he'll get better.
Yeah, he's improved. He's improved over the season as
Yeah,
well. I say Cunha has settled in. Yeah, he definitely has settled in. It's always going to take a little bit of time. I think it's like one of these things where I think with Cunha, he was the main man at Wolves. He was their best player,
yeah, yeah.
and when he comes into Manchester United,
Same.
you've got to kind of work into Bruno Fernandes. You're joining Bruno's team effectively, aren't you? Let's be honest. Bruno pulls the strings, and
Yeah.
I think that's where do you remember that game against Wolves? And I said before the game, I said, I bet Cunha tries to score. And Cunha took about,
I
must have
know.
taken about 10
He
shots.
kept
And it wasn't
trying.
his best performance.
Bless him.
But you could tell, couldn't you?
He's desperate, wasn't he, to score? But it's the same with Mbumo. Big fish in a small pond, small fish in a big pond, and that takes time to transition. But also he's had to play in multiple positions. So yeah, I'm really excited to see those players and Sesko in Europe next season. I'm really excited to see them play in Europe because I think they'll be afforded a bit more space.
Well, also, see Cunha against some of the elite teams as well, see how he does in
Yeah,
those games. Because I get the feeling that he might be one of those players that this is why you join Man United, isn't it? He didn't join Man United because he thought, maybe we can beat Grimsby in a League Cup match. He joined because he thought, let's get this team back into the Champions League
uh,
and let's take on.
he knew he couldn't beat Grimsby.
Yeah, no, maybe we'll get Grimsby.
Could you imagine?
Andy says he fits the shirt. Cunha, shirt's not too heavy. I think that's exactly it. That it's just taking a bit of time to get used to kind of how the team's working and functioning. Cohen says Cunha has elite balance, brilliant striker of the ball, tenacious with a strong mentality to see out games. Exactly, Cohen. He reminds me of Mark Hughes. But I know people say, oh, but no, okay, he does different things, but Mark Hughes had this outrageous finishes, like loads of volleyed finishes and great technical ability. Mark Hughes was tenacious. You couldn't get the ball off Mark Hughes. Great hold up play. I think Cunha does that. I don't think I've seen anyone hold the ball up as well as Mark Hughes. I think Cunha's the best in our team at doing it at the moment. So I'm a big fan. But I'd play Cunha as a second striker if we were playing like 4-4-2. I'd put him up there and go,
Yeah,
like, I think he could do the Mark Hughes role.
yeah,
I think he's like that sort of player.
yeah. He's a tricky player, isn't he, to play against? He really is.
I hated playing against him. I kind of respected him, but I was just looking at thinking, oh, he's making Yori look shit again. And he's just doing things where he just. Do you remember that game when Wolves beat us 1-0 and Cunha was just the best player on the pitch?
Yeah.
Has Luke Shaw played every game this season?
Yes, yeah. I think Casemiro almost did it, but he missed one.
He's played he started every single league match, Cake. Yeah.
It's
Imagine
crazy,
if you
isn't
went
it?
to the bookies and put a bet on
Yeah.
and said, right, Luke Shaw's going to start every Premier League match to be like, God, this is like the same odds as Leicester winning the league. I think,
Do you think tomorrow there's a possibility that he plays Dorgu instead of Shaw? There is a possibility if you're thinking about overlapping.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Because I really want to see that relationship between Dorgu and Cunha because I think them two, they would maneuver players out of position. They would create space and
I'm just wondering whether we might see like massive changes in the last game of the season, and this one might be
safe
kind
bet.
of similar.
Yeah,
Is my guess.
you're right.
Where's Mr. Helgi? So I'll go for a few comments. You got some comments. We're just waiting for Helgi to get his kit on and join the stream. I don't know. I think he just got in. I did send him a link about 5 minutes ago.
He hasn't gone to the shops to get some coke, has he?
No, I don't think so. I said you would try Dogo on the left and Buemo on the right. Ahmed is very out of form. Yeah, I would probably be looking at, but that would be, you put Cunha up front. I'd probably try that as well. I think I think Cunha would be a better striker than Buemo.
Or play Ahmad left and Bima right and Cunha up front.
I'd put Dorgo on left. I
Oh,
think I'm
okay,
not
cool.
sure that Almajolo is that effective on left,
Yeah, he
but
might do that actually. He could do that. I could see
I
that.
think it'd be quite exciting actually having Cunha plus Dorgo plus like Embuemo. I think that's a good front three, and it would be a good pressing front three as well. Yeah, I'd do that actually. That's quite aggressive, and it'd be quite fun for Bruno to like ping passes to those three people.
He's got an arm around Ahmed at the moment, so I wonder if he starts him and then maybe brings Dorgu on second half. And Ahmed did score in the previous match. He's got to get a goal, hasn't he? Just to kind of lift himself up. Otherwise, the season's really kind of been a damp squid for him. Certainly the second half.
But Jake's being like quite diplomatic here because I think most people in the comments would be saying sell him, but but Cake says I think the lesson with Shaw is don't play him twice a week. Then yeah, I think the lesson is if it's an international tournament year, play Luke Shaw as much as possible because he'll stay fit, and then sell him. You got to sell him in like 1 of 4 years, haven't you? You got a 4 year cycle where you can sell Luke Shaw every 4 years. Otherwise, he's going to be injury prone.
I can't believe the amount of players we bought in just to get Luke Shaw starting again. Do you remember every time we bought in a left back, suddenly Luke Shaw was there and fit and available and playing? We did it. We bought, what was it, Malaysia, Talis, was this Regulian? I was just kind of like,
Yeah, we played Amrabat at left at one point, didn't we?
yeah, we signed him. That was his first game, left back. Just like, what?
Cohen's got an interesting prediction. He said, "Watch Dorgu start over Cunha, then move to left back as Luke Shaw goes off with Casemiro." Then we've never really seen Dorgu play as a left back, have we? We've seen left wing back, but we haven't seen him.
As a left back, yeah.
Um, this is a
Even,
good question actually because Carrick is like, "Here we go today, 2 years plus one." Are you worried Carrick is going to be hung out to dry? Is Daz's question. How do you feel?
so look, with the people at the top, you always worry that they're going to hang the managers out to dry. And I think if you ask any fan, bar a couple of clubs, they have that kind of concern. But what I like about Carrick is he's come in, he hasn't had the players, the squad is thin bare, and he's still found a way to win. So even if they do have a few shenanigans up top or don't hit the mark with the signings, I think he'll still find a way. I understand the caveat is we'll play more games next season, but I think they will certainly get in the midfielders. And the problem we've had for a long time is midfield. I still think we've got players in the squad that we can. That's why I'm a bit loath to have too many players go off on loan. I would bring in two or three just to kind of have a bit of depth and cover who are ready to make the step up. I wasn't too impressed with the under 18s final. I forget the chap's name, was in the wing. He's not ready to come up. It's not ready to come up. So
JJ,
no, not JJ. No, JJ certainly isn't. I forget the chap's name. It'll come to me. There was a left back and a left winger, which I thought might be good enough. Noah Dewey, Kokoni was the player I was thinking of. As
okay.
he's Luke Shaw's reinforcement. Not physically strong enough yet.
I
So
think
I
people
won't
always
bring him
assume
up.
that academy players play well in the academy, then they go, right, first team, there you go, and it's going to be done and great, but it's always going to take a while. Mr. Helgi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Been watching kids. That sounded wrong. I've been babysitting my nephews.
Oh,
That sounds better.
Yeah.
you're terrible. That's something that he would say.
Oh, it's rubbing off.
Not good more of a left back than a left wing, says Andy. I don't know. But anyway, now we've got Helgi here. We'll do like 5 minutes of questions, then I will have to head off because someone mentioned chocolate about 20 minutes ago,
Oh,
and it was
God.
like, "Come on, guys, we're live. I can't move." And you're mentioning food. Don't do that.
Well, you're okay. You've got an eclair in the fridge. I've got absolutely
Yeah,
nothing. I
there
have to
is
go to
that.
the shops and get some
That's
dark
called
chocolate.
preparation. That's
I can't have it in the house because it's there saying "eat me, eat me."
yeah. I only noticed it. It's not been in the house for long. I only noticed it early on today, and I thought, right, I can manage it to wait. I did eat something else at the same time, so I thought, all right, I can have that later. And I came up. It was just before I came upstairs, and I was like, right, I can just walk out the room. I'll go back and eat it in a second. So how are you feeling, Helgi? What do you think is going to happen against Forest?
Oh, I thought you was just saying what's going to happen. That was very like general, like I don't know, storm the capital.
Oh dear.
Also,
It
you
will
don't
be.
get to shave
It
your
will
hair off
be.
because Carrick's been announced.
Yeah, that's good. Like I said, you guys in the chat don't know, and you will never know. You will never watch it. But these two guys have seen all of my hairstyles since I was a kid, and they can both vouch for I've done everything between heaven and earth, but I've never ever shaved my head. I'm a bit.
Are you disappointed?
Oh, good question. Yes and no. Because if I shaved it, that means we got another one. But then again, imagine if we got another one and it's not something better. Because, like I said, uh, it's not that I don't want Carrick because he deserves it. It's just, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just a feeling in my belly like, did I get it? Yeah, yeah. No, I didn't get that feeling. It's just, obviously Luis Enrique was ungettable. So I get why, because I heard people are like, why do people even talk about Luis Enrique? We were never getting him anyway. And I know it's just an example of like elite manager. But just imagine if Sir Jim and proved everyone like I'm going to show everyone wrong, and just bam bought someone out of contract like Luis Enrique went and bought Tonali and Anderson, and just I'm going to show you were all wrong. I would just be wow. So it's nothing against Carrick. It's just it's calm. But like I said yesterday, it depends so much more on. I think whatever opinion you have, I think everyone should agree with this thing. Even Cake should agree with this. But if you have shit players and a good coach, it doesn't matter. But if you have really good players, I'm not saying Carrick is shit, but I'm just saying if you're really good players, it's very much easier to coach. So if you put it that way, if we just have a good summer, by very good players, I'm not saying it doesn't matter who the coach is, but it's just
There's like if you get rubbish players, there's a ceiling, isn't there? And I think
of course
in the Premier
no matter
League,
who is the manager.
yeah, in the Premier League, it's obvious. If you haven't got the players, a lot of coaches coach to be disciplined and coach not to lose matches, and that can't be Man United's plan. We have to, we got good players. Like we're not at that stage. We're not a team near the bottom trying to do a low block every game. But we didn't have the best squad, so I think you've got to look at it and go. For me, the most important thing is getting the right players in.
Yes.
But certainly, I think what we saw with it's difficult to say how good Carrick is because Ruben Amorim was so bad. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I thought our squad was good enough to get European football.
But that's the thing I don't like, because when people are like, because I heard people who don't want Carrick, for example, but I think they're too much on the other side. Kind of like what you say is correct. Like when I say I'm not excited by getting Carrick, that doesn't mean they are like, oh, it's the wrong decision. It's how do you know? How do you know? It's like the people, oh, it's the right choice. We should have gone for Carrick. Like that's allowed to say, but how do you know that's the right choice? Or how do you know it's not the right choice? We don't know. So I don't like when people talk about things they don't know. You can either say, I would have gone for another manager, but like for me, we can win the league with Carrick, or we can end 15th and he can get sacked in November. I don't know, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about like, oh, it's the wrong decision, because he has proved so many things. So
Yeah.
there aren't any like real arguments for him not getting the job, but there are some. But then again, it's like, do you like pasta or pizza? You can argue for both cases, and I'm like in the middle, kind of. I see both sides, but what I don't like is people. I know Carrick is going to fail. I know Carrick is going.
I saw. I
I
did
know
see
he's the
about
right
that
man.
channel. That channel I won't mention by name because I thought they were talking rubbish when I saw them, and they said everybody that wants Carrick, you're going to be so disappointed when he's sacked at Christmas. And I was like, based on what? We've seen Carrick since January, and the biggest defeat we've had is 2-1. Like that's literally our biggest defeat in what 18, 19 games or 17, 18 games. That's our biggest defeat. Our best victories are against Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, um, Chelsea, Aston Villa. Literally everyone in the top six we've beaten, and that's his record, and his one defeat against Newcastle and one defeat against Leeds. And the defeat against Leeds, we had to play Agate. We didn't have, I think, we didn't have our best defensive options, and also the people that were saying that we shouldn't back Carrick or Carrick shouldn't be, it would be a mistake, are the people that would have probably given Ruben Amorim like 4 more years. So I think the question for me is going to be, what's the worst that can happen? Like, what is the worst case scenario?
For me, it's kind of like so you talk about the players, but also you need to get the technical coaches in, and the management, a team doesn't win by just one person. It's built by a family of people that come together and fill in all those holes and fill in all that tactical prowess. So you add to it, I'm of the ilk of this. I'll be loyal to a manager or to a player as long as you're performing.
Yes.
As soon as you start making noise and start being disruptive, I've got a side eye. If that continues, you're gone. I'm not interested. So for me, if he's successful, brilliant. And if he's not successful, you get the next one. It's kind of like, I'm over all of that kind of stuff, and people say, oh, it's a rebuild or this or that. It's kind of like that's what football is.
We are supporters of Manchester United. We are not supporters of Carrick or Shaw or Mount or Mainu. We are supporters of Manchester United. I want Manchester United to win every game possible. And if Carrick, and I'll be backing Carrick every game. Even if it's shit, I'll obviously criticize it like I criticized Ferguson when I thought he was wrong, and like, who am I when I was 12 years old and criticizing his tactics? But that's life. But I'm still backing Carrick, like you say. And if it don't go, it don't go. But at the end of the day, what do you want? Carrick to lose so you're proven right? Then you're not a Manchester United supporter. Then it's more important for you to be right and say, I told you so. And that's why I think those people, you won't be laughing when he's sacked in December. They're just saying that because
they want to say it first.
If it happens,
I said so.
I told you. And my response to that would be, okay, you're right, but this means we're 15th in the league. Are you happy? For me, for example, I'm not negative towards Carrick. I'm just not excited. What do I want most in the world? To be proven absolutely wrong. Exactly. To be as wrong as humanly possible is the thing I want. I don't care about being right. I care about United, and everyone else should. And could you bring up the cake comment about tactics and stuff?
I can find it. Whereabouts is it?
It's that phrase, isn't it? Do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? I want to be happy.
The style of play one.
Yes. Let me see. For me, it's more about the style of play. If it changes, if you're the reason I wanted to bring this up is, if I want to be fair, and I want always to be fair, when Amorim got in, what did I say and many say? He hasn't got a preseason, he hasn't got a summer, yada, yada, yada. And why I would be so hypocritical if I didn't give Carrick the same lenience. And I will also ask to UK, because I get you, because I've been feeling kind of the same. I've not been impressed by the football. But then I've been thinking, okay, but would I change it for playing good football with Carrick, like attacking, but being 8th? Or would I be being 3rd with mere football, but we are 3rd in the league, getting Champions League, and then doing changes in summer? And I think I would do the other one, and I think you would as well. And you say, but why can't he win and play good football? Dude, he came in middle of the season, not his players, just scrambled a team, and you expect him to both win and play good football? Because if he played good football and wasn't winning, you would be criticizing that. and if he's winning, not playing. So the only thing you would be or happy with is good football and winning, and that's super unrealistic. So I just wanted to bring up, because I've been thinking about playing style also, but you have to be balanced and say he's coming in the middle of the season as well. So let's say he went in and played amazing football and ended third. He would be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It would be insane. So yeah, go on with it.
I was going to say, so like when Amrin came in, so I didn't have that philosophy of he hasn't got a preseason. I always think if you're coming to this job, which is such a privileged job to do, you come in because you're better than the person that you're replacing, and you have to do better, and you have to find a way to win. And I'm exactly the same with Carrick. You have to find a way to win. We were so off winning consistently that starter play comes later. The first thing you've got to drill into these players is you fight to the 98th minute. You keep fighting. You keep trying to find a way. And sometimes that's not pretty. Sometimes it's not pretty. That comes later. That comes when you've got a broader tools to play with. For what he's done, and I have this with any manager, don't take the job if you're going to be worse than the last man. Jog on. It's kind of like if you're looking at the players in front of you and you can't play the way you want to play, adapt, change, do something different. That's what I didn't like about Amrin. I thought it's too stubborn, it's kind of like if you wanted to do your style of play, you need to have a bit of flexibility. And Carrick, as like we were saying it, we looked at these players, we thought, where can we put these players in to start winning games and have a bit of depth in this almost dead, to the bone squad depth? And we found ways, and he's done exactly the same. It's not science, is it? It's really simple. And he gets players in the summer. Look,
Carrick's job was to come in, make sure we got Champions League football, and maybe the results actually been better than we think. One thing was noticeable as well.
That sentence is everything.
Yeah, just before Carrick came in, we played a few games against the bottom teams. So when he came in, people looked at the fixture list and said, right, the first couple of games you've got to play against City, you've got to play against Arsenal, you've got Fulham, and there was no easy games. And we went, beat Liverpool, beat Villa quite easily actually, and had a scrappy win against Chelsea, scrappy win against Everton. But we're talking about scrappy wins. We're talking about last-minute wins. And if people were old enough to watch the '99 season, Man United had loads of scrappy wins. We had loads of games where we should have put a team away 5-0 and won 3-2. I watched us play against so many teams like Middlesbrough. We beat them like 4-3. We beat them like 3-2. There are loads of games where we made stupid mistakes or conceded, like against Fulham, like a couple of wonder goals as well. And we came back. For me, it was when I said it was a bit like Fergie, and people went, "Oh, this isn't the same football." What I meant was we started games very strongly. For whatever reason, things went wrong, and we responded in the last 15 minutes. We finished the game on top, which I've said like people like Cunha, and maybe the thing I saw under Ruben Amorim, which made me worried that it wasn't sustainable, was when we were on top, we kind of lost our way in games, and that was it. We never regained back into that game. We finished the game in the last 15 looking like we're hanging on. Whereas last sort of 5 or 10 games, I think most of the games, if things go wrong, so on the 70th minute, something, we got 15 minutes, we respond and we actually finish quite strong. Like Liverpool's a perfect example. For about 15 minutes, Liverpool were on top. We made some stupid errors. And I was thinking, bloody hell, what have we done? Like, we've thrown this away. And then we responded, got a winner, and then closed the game out. That's something that people say it's horrible football or it's lucky, but it's not lucky if it keeps happening. It shows a bit of like the Premier League's a difficult competition. Like Liverpool haven't got a semi-professional team, have they? They spent £500 million, and all these players are, even though Isak's missing or this other player's missing, everybody else is a full international, and the quality of the team is very high. But I think people just I don't know what they're expecting. That I thought that if we finished third, people would look at the team differently and go fair play. But I think people are looking at the team and going, I don't trust this team. And I'm thinking, what's not to trust? Like Michael Carrick has done about as well as he could have.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Was I kind of had to check myself before I wrecked myself. No, I had to check myself as well, because I was like getting a little bit drawn into I'm not excited by Carrick, playing style. We are playing shit every week. we are scrapping wins, but I don't think it's sustainable in the long term. Yeah, we played bad games before and scrappy under Ferguson, but in between those, that we had 4 or 5 exciting, fun games where we had full control. So I was kind of getting dragged into that, but then I had to check myself before I wrecked myself, and I was like, okay, go back to January, Helgi. Write on a board. I was thinking this. Yeah, I know I'm schizophrenic, but I think like this. Write on like a chalkboard. What do you expect, or what do you want from him? And don't be unrealistic. I would write Champions League and a period, and that's everything. And when
I've
people
got a
then
question
come,
for you
yeah,
guys, like a general football question. How do people define controlling games? Because when people say Man United need to control games, and for people that love stats, okay, you can look at possession stats, but when Man United were playing against Liverpool, Liverpool had loads of meaningless possession. Man United, I thought we were in control. We knew what we were doing. When we had the ball, we attacked with pace, directness, and we were causing more problems for them. Because if you look at like if you love stats, I'm not a stats person generally, but Man United have actually won more duels than any team in the Premier League this season. And I think if you're talking about winning control of games, I think winning your individual battles is one thing, but I think possession for me can be a bit misleading in terms of controlling a game, because I think I've seen Man United maybe in control of games where we let the team have we let the team have extra possession because we can hit directly on the break. I don't think it's a flaw to be good at counter-attacking if that's your strength. I think it's
I,
good to actually looking at, like Daz says, it's not about for me. It's not about possession, because I watched this against Liverpool. Liverpool had about 60% possession. We were well in control in that first half.
there's, I think you're spot on, because yeah, this is a good analogy. There's multiple toppings on a pizza. It's still a pizza. And what I mean by that is, I get the people, control of a game is when you have the ball, and that's how I view control. Some view control like Simeone, some view control in different ways, and everyone is right. Control is when you have the ball. Control is when you have control without the ball. Everything is right. There's multiple right answers. So when people say we don't have control, I would rather say, I don't. If you're a bit intelligent, then I don't like. I prefer us to have control with the ball. Then I would say, okay, that's a flavor thing. But you can't say that, for example, Simeone with 30% possession, he has played probably 300 games where he had so control of the game, won 4-0 with 35% possession, full control. So there's multiple ways to look at it. So you can just, instead of like criticizing and say we don't have control, we're just playing counter, just say I don't like counter-attacking football. And I would say, okay, but that's, you're allowed to your opinion, but don't say.
Yeah.
And also, I've been thinking about, why is it like this in this team? And some will hate it and some will don't. I think because of Bruno, he suits that type of football, because like when Ten Hag and Amorim and other and Solskjaer the last season, when we tried with Amorim, Ten Hag, we tried to be the 60% possession team. It never worked for us. Yes, we were around the box, but we didn't create anything, and we were breaking on all of the time. I think when we have Bruno, he's such an influential player that he kind of conducts how we play. So like it or not, you can say, okay, but then I want to get rid of Bruno. Fair, that's your point. But as long as we have Bruno, play to his strengths, and we will win a lot of matches. And I think he is best when the game is open like that and we are counter. And if you say, I don't like that football, okay, but are you going to sit and moan 50 games next season then? Or are you going to look at the positives? Because we are going to play like that. And me and Rich, was it yesterday me and you were backstage?
Yeah.
Or was it yesterday?
Yeah. Big up, JR.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was last night. I was telling people last night that we finished the stream, and then for
We
about an
watched.
hour and a half, it was too long because it was like about 12:30. We were watching like videos of Man United games that we'd actually gone to see live. And then we were looking at tactical comparisons of midfielders and seeing how they fitted into our midfield.
And how was, and ask you this question, Rich, of we probably watched about half an hour, 45 minutes of old United games and goals. How was 80% of the goals?
It's mainly,
Counterattacks.
I think Man United's goals
They were
generally, it's
counterattacks.
like there's a breakdown, isn't it? And it's about counter-attacking football, very fast attack. It's not about
Yes.
sustained pressure usually. It's usually rapid movement of the ball.
So
See,
it's a flavor thing.
I find that kind of football really interesting because to me that's
Yes.
pure tactics. Knowing when to jump, knowing when to make that movement, knowing when to kind of you have to sometimes cede possession to the opposition to allow them, and then you wait for the mistake, and then you jump. And I think it's interesting. I think look, football it's not black and white, and all this. I think counter attack gets thrown around so often, and it gets thrown around like a bad phrase. You know, to counter the attack because you're under threat, you've got to maneuver that into an attack on your own. That takes skill. It's kind of like I enjoy watching that. I enjoy
couldn't
watching
agree
that.
more with every word you said. It's I like you all know I'm a football geek, so I watch a lot of other leagues as well, and studios of Serie A, studios of Bundesliga. We have Norwegian like panels like Premier League, everything. And I can tell you this, and probably some of you guys in the chat only watch United or mostly United. But I can promise you what VDB says there is 100% true, because people praise Simeone, Conte, Pep, Klopp, Ancelotti. Everyone has different philosophies. Everyone has the different ways of playing. There's multiple. There's not one right. If you think there's one right, like I know what I prefer, that doesn't mean I have the right answer. That's just my opinion.
Mm.
And what I was getting at is, I promise you, United fans are the only fan group in the world I've ever heard criticizing counterattacks.
I know it's crazy, isn't it?
Remember, I can just tell you the chat. Like, if you disagree with me right now, just think of when you see Champions League studio 5 years ago. Like, oh, Real Madrid with Bale and Ronaldo, such a best counterattacking team in the world under Zidane. Oh, Dortmund with Marco Reus. Oh my God, they're so brilliant at counterattacks. Like it's a bragging right.
I think
It's
it's
lethal.
something we're good at,
It's a
because
tactic.
if you think of Man United, then if you think of what was the attributes of Ryan Giggs, it's running with the ball, it's speed of movement. What's Bruno Fernandes' forte? What's Scholes good at? Scholes is good at distance passing
It's
to
a
a
pass and
striker.
the runner.
Beckham,
Pass and the runner. We've done it all the time.
yeah, Beckham getting the ball into Van Nistelrooy rapidly. That was quick, and I think saying like I think it's what I was going to say is that if you look at football, and it's not just Manchester United, where do most goals come from? I think most goals don't come from one team with the ball for half an hour, wearing a team down. They might do that for a bit, then the other team will be progressing up the pitch a bit. Then you hit them on the break. You kind of have to sometimes draw a team out. And again, no team is amazing against the low block. That's why it's a good neutral tactic to defend. If you think about Man United when they're defending in a 4-4-2 against City, City were doing nothing. And Man United defended in a 4-4-2 for about 30 minutes against Arsenal, and they didn't really do anything against us. And you see teams you see probably see Wolves do that, and you see Burnley do that, and they're very difficult to play against for Man City and Arsenal as well, and they're good teams. I think sometimes the worst thing these teams at the bottom can do is to go out and attack. If a team attacks Man United, then that's going to be causing a problem for them. But I think on transition, we watched the goals from like Nani, from Ronaldo, from Rooney, Robin van Persie, and it wasn't slow
Tevez.
build-up play. This was like 2 or 3 passes,
Yeah.
outrageous passing from like Bruno Fernandes or someone like
Giggs. Remember the Giggs pass I
Scholes,
showed you?
Giggs, Wayne Rooney, and it was like 1 or 2 touch passing with ridiculous quality, like the passing from Giggs or Beckham. That's what Man United used to do. So if you're looking at what Man United did throughout the mid to late 90s, and from like say 2006 to like 2010 or something like that, you see all this. You see all these same sort of things. And Bruno Fernandes would have been a perfect
Oh,
into that team as well. If you're looking at could Bruno get into the treble-winning team, Bruno Fernandes could have been like passing it like York, Beckham, Cole, Solskjaer. He'd
he
have been
could play
phenomenal
like the
for that
second
team.
striker, like kind of like when Rooney played with Berbatov or Tevez played with Berbatov as well. Like Bruno could be not a 10, but more like Del Piero was to Trezeguet at Juventus, for example. And also, is it random that I've never seen Ferguson have 100% control of the game in the way that Tacticals Online talk about. I've never seen us just chilling outside the box. He would get pissed. He was like, I remember 1,000 times in post-match, he was so angry. Like, he was saying stuff like, obviously I was 12, 13, so, but it was something like, because I've heard it so many times, when he's so angry at the players after the game, even if we won 2-0, he was like, I don't get why we just were in and around the box. Like, get a shot off or do something, get a corner. Just don't. I think we used too much time on the ball. He has said that so many times. We used too much time on the ball. I remember he said it so many times.
We used to kind of like laugh at Arsenal around about 2000. Maybe it was like
so many touches.
2000, 2002 or something, where it used to be Arsenal used to just pass, and we would just go pass, shoot, goal, or pass, shoot, deflected shot.
They were trying to do the perfect goal, weren't they, Arsenal, for a long time. And it's just like, get a shot off. Get a shot off. It's really simple.
Arsenal, the new Arsenal, is my favourite comment of the day. So Arsenal, the new Arsenal, George Graham's Arsenal, in the spirit Arsenal is going for. I just hope we don't get another crap movie out of it. Yeah, that's something we have to hope for.
No, I wanted to say, it's not random that Ollie played counter-attacking football, or Carrick plays. I wonder why. What's the common denominator? Oh, they both played for Ferguson.
Ex-United players, yeah, exactly.
But I'm not going to be like, how do you say it, condescending to people who don't like counter-attacking football, because that's allowed. Because I remember vividly in 2010, me and my friend, and he's an Arsenal supporter. And we were watching Spain, and they were playing with Fabregas as the false nine, and they had 78% possession and won 2-0, and he was like sitting with his mouth open, and I was like, what? And he was like, this is some of the best football I've ever seen. And I'm like, and I said, I love human beings. I said to him, I said, we can be so different. I said, this is the worst. This is the last football I'd ever want United to play. Like the Barca possession, the Spain possession, 78.
I used to get annoyed by that.
I think it's the most boring thing on planet Earth. But also, I'm not right. Like, they are allowed to think that, but at the same time, then you have to give me respect and say, okay, I like that football, you like that football, but we are all allowed to like different football. But I love.
I just laughed at that comment. I'll read it out in a second. It's quite funny.
Under Ollie, for example, my favorite time was when the team sheet right before the game, they're walking out on Old Trafford, and the starting front four was Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. I was like, oh my God. And every time we broke, was it Greenwood getting the ball? Was it Rashford getting the ball?
Yeah.
Was Bruno going?
Yeah,
it was just, I felt like
great.
Kid in the candy shop. I was loving it. And people then were, he's got no tactics. And I'm like,
and you've seen moments of that this season with Cunha and Mbumo and even Ahmed. You know, they interchange. You don't know where they're playing, where they're coming from. Sesko will add that to his game too. You know, so there's that kind of ingenuity that was been lacking. It's been stale for such a long time. And also, you've got to remember, these players need upgrading. We need to upgrade our defence. We certainly need to upgrade our fullbacks. We need to upgrade our midfield. And yes, indeed, we need to upgrade our attack. So evolution and pretty football is more easier to do when you've got better quality on the pitch. It doesn't happen when you've got players that can't even go up the line.
This for me is the comment of the day. So because I don't hear ever Newcastle fans, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans on the club or whatever, or I don't hear no fans like for example Leipzig. If you ask the owners, the managers, the players, what's the best football? They're like, we are searching to be one of the best transition teams in the world with Diomande, Nusa, Winchesco. They are like, that's their thing. Like they only have the fastest players on top. Openda, when he played there, like counterattacking is beautiful. And if you don't like it, that's 100% fair. You know, you're allowed to that. But I just, it's only United fans. Like in Italy, this looked so good. Like Napoli, when they were a counterattacking team, like everyone praises them in the Champions League, and Henri, Carragher, or whatever, everyone in the studio in Dortmund, like counterattacking is a thing. Like control without the ball, and when you get the ball, you're lethal. That's legit a tactic. That's
pace,
not That's not moments.
It's like
that's
speed
not
of movement, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I know Cake said that Bruno Fernandes doesn't get into any Man United team. The thing is that Bruno Fernandes, because he can progress the ball so quickly, how can Bruno Fernandes not do what Scholes does? I think Bruno Fernandes is better off the ball than Scholes. I think his passing range, like Scholes had incredible accuracy. I think Bruno Fernandes is a bit more lethal because he's getting it into the strike. Scholes probably didn't get as many assists as Bruno did, but it was more careful with possession. But it's a different team. I was saying to Helgi last night when we finished the stream. I said, imagine Bruno Fernandes getting the ball into someone like Van Nistelrooy, because Van Nistelrooy to head, to feet, to
I
chest.
said, don't bother. I said, Rich, don't even say that. It's
He's got
me
outrageous.
water in the
I was
mouth.
thinking, if we can develop Sesko, and essentially Bruno just has to find Sesko. If he could finish like Van Nistelrooy, it's crazy, isn't it? But it's different opinions, isn't it? Like if Man United won playing tiki taka, maybe I still wouldn't really like it, to be honest. I find it a little bit.
Same.
I like the drama of like my favorite goals. Like I showed you, remember that goal we were talking about, Marquez's goal against Barcelona, and when someone's breaking through, the defense is nowhere there. You're one-on-one with the keeper, and you have that sort of drama or crazy finishes and passing. That's kind of what I like, but it's different for everyone, isn't it?
It's do you like House of Cards or do you like Formula One? And I'm not saying that in a condescending way, because both are right. Like both are. I'm just saying some like the slow control. They think that's beautiful. I have mates who are like, my favorite football is like Simeone football, like proper. Like for example, one of my best friends is an Everton supporter, and he's like, if we were a top 4 team, I said, like, if Everton became a top team, what was your dream manager in the world? And he said Simeone. He encapsulates everything that is Everton. I want us to be like a wall, like impossible. I would love that. And he's not wrong either. Like, and if you like, oh, that's shit football. Yeah, you think it's shit, but that does make it factually true that it is shit. It's just taste. So that's what I would say to people in the chat. You can say you don't like counterattacking, but don't say it's not tactics.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes. We were going to finish. I did say to Isabella we finish at 8, but we had special guest appearance from Helgi. So, and people keep mentioning food in the chat, which is
I'm so hungry.
is not ideal. So, if anyone's got like a final comment that you got about a minute, where's Helgi gone now? So, Isabella, do you want to summarize? So, in summary, Man United are going to win tomorrow. Actually, on Sunday is what we think.
Yeah.
And
just like what we've been talking today, overload the wings, create TV1s, and create space for third man runs, and we'll win it. That's what I would do.
Scores in there.
A funny comment for people watching the game. Just if you agree with me after, you can say if you agree or disagree with me after the game. Igor Jesus, the striker for Nottingham Forest, he's literally Watkins's Brazilian twin. Just remember I said that, and when you watch the game, you will understand. And if you disagree, tell me why you disagree. And has Jarle been in the chat today?
No, not this evening.
Okay, but if you're in the chat, Jarle, god 17. mai og kos deg masse mye. Og ha en fin dag.
What for tomorrow, is it?
No, Sunday.
Sunday.
But yeah, it's mental. It's like 4th of July is like, and other national, I see they are like what's your date in UK?
We don't have
Don't
one,
you have
do
like
we?
a national day?
No, America has Independence Day. We don't have a national day.
That's
You don't?
independence
I
from us,
thought.
though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Ah,
So I'm saying
you
America
don't
yeah,
have
has
a
Independence Day. We don't have one.
you
No,
don't have a
because
4th of July.
no, we were busy colonizing everyone else.
exactly. They're celebrating getting independence from us, though, Helgi. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
We,
Got one in
So
Norway
India.
has Norway
we
has
don't, we
been
don't,
like
it'd be a bit weird celebrating losing a colony.
true.
Then,
No,
then,
no,
then there'd be many.
uh, yeah,
Norway has
exactly.
been
There'd be a lot of days.
Norway has been like we have been in the middle of Sweden and Denmark, so we have always been like, now Sweden owns us, now Denmark owns us, now Sweden owns us, and we celebrate 17th of May because that's when we got independent, and in other countries when they have this day, it's like beautiful and like celebration. In Norway, we just all get super hammered. It's not even romantic, and like from your about 16, it's like a kind of ritual. Everyone meets about 8 or 9 p.m. in the morning, fully suited, and we call it champagne breakfast. We don't have breakfast, it's just drink, and we drink from 8-9 in the morning to about 5, and that's like every 17th of May. So
Wow.
yeah, that's it's going to be a long day.
The people that are interested, and it is a bit weird, but there's a reason for it. But
Yeah,
the best rebel flavor is apparently toffee for people
Oh
that are
no,
interested.
I don't like toffee. It gets stuck in my teeth.
Do you know what I was thinking? I don't like raisins in chocolate. That's just weird.
no, I don't like
Raisins to
raisins at
be
all.
cheerful.
They like
I
my
don't mind
jokes, they're too
raisins in
dry.
chocolate. No, not for me. Not for me.
You have such weird. England don't know how weird food England got, and the sweets you've got. Like when I see people from the States
You
or
have caramel
China.
cheese, which is
Yeah.
actually quite nice, but it is a bit bizarre when you
I'm
first see it.
so hungry,
Oh,
and people
caramel
keep
cheese.
talking about food.
Yeah, okay, let's leave it. Uh, so St George's Day, I'm not even sure when St George's Day is, but I'm from Wales originally, so St David's Day is just an excuse to have Welsh cakes and eat more food as well.
Every celebration is just an excuse for people to get pissed. Come on, let's have it right.
I think that's it, isn't it? I mean, I'm going to celebrate the end of the stream by eating an eclair, so that's going to be great.
Do you guys have toffee?
Toffee fee.
Yeah,
What's that? Toffee fee.
it's like chocolate toffee.
Is it like toffee with chocolate on top?
Yeah, it's like it comes in like a rectangle
Like-
box, and you like slide it out.
Oh, is it the
I'm not
round
so
things? They're like small
Yeah.
Like
on
a cup,
acorns.
like
Yeah,
Yeah.
cup.
semicircle.
Yeah, I know.
It's
the
a
one.
little bit of
Yeah.
a nut inside. No,
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to stop.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to finish because we're just about it's really hungry.
And
And he's
everyone's talking about
we need to
chocolate.
stop. Yeah. But no, thanks, Helgi, for joining. Thanks, Will Isabella. Of people that just tuned in and watched the first hour, because there's actually quite a lot of sensible football chat and a lot of good content there. And a few interesting things as well. But thanks, Helgi. Thanks, Will Isabella. Thanks, everybody, for watching. There should be some live streams tomorrow. Obviously, with the game on the weekend, we'll be covering. We might be doing like pre-match and post-match, and there might not be a watch long, but we will be doing definitely a calling show after the match, which should be great. But thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you are new, please subscribe and send it on to other people if you want to try and help grow the channel. But have a great rest of your night. And I'm going to go and eat my eclair now. And Will Isabella, hopefully you got some food in your fridge. And Helgi, big up to you as well. And no worries, cake. No worries. I will do that next time I see you guys. If you remember, you're probably going to forget.